All right. Jon Voight, last night on Life, Liberty, and Levin. And I hope you catch this show live most Sunday nights. Liberalism. What happened to you? You were a very active liberal at one point. Cut 11, go.
We pulled out of Vietnam, and what happened? Was there this embrace? Was there this celebration? No. 2.5 million people were murdered in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam because of our absence. And what happened with the left when they saw that? It's the signature of the left. They create this, this chaos and horror, and they walk away. They take no responsibility for it. That's what happened to all my buddies. Mm-hmm. They celebrated. We won the war. We won it. We won our war. And there was this bloodbath. I remember Joan Baez had a little piece in the paper, and it was the only single voice from all of the left, and she was ridiculed for it or put aside for it. And I thought to myself, she's right. And we were wrong.
That's the turning point.
That was the turning point. And it took a long time because propaganda is dangerous. It gets into our system.
It's reinforcing.
Yes, it is. And it took me a long while to pull completely out of it. But little by little I did. And then I saw that the answer, much like Reagan, when he said, the Democratic Party, I didn't leave the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party left me. Well, to some degree, I have to say the same thing happened to me or anybody who's a conservative now and was at that time on the other side. Because when you look at, let's say, John Kennedy's inaugural address, his inaugural address would be deemed today by the people who were in Hollywood and my friends in Hollywood and the people over the country who are on the left as some radical nut from the Republican Party. We simply have lost something along the way, but it hasn't been our own fault. We've been attacked by an insidious and I would say evil force. And I've traced that, and I know a little bit about it. So I know what the battle is. The battle has been raging, and it's reemerged in this century in full force, and that's what we're dealing with right now.
He's a huge Trump supporter. As a matter of fact, he backed Trump early on in the primary process, and I asked him about it. Cut 15, go.
So how did you become a early Trump supporter? What did you see in candidate Trump?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. First of all, there were 17 guys with him, right? They were all very top fellas, bright, very bright fellas, very capable. And I don't know if there's ever been such a legion of very, very good, righteous folks on this one stage together. But I looked at the world and what was left after the past years, and the world was in chaos. Terrorism had swept across the world. Because the cat was away, the big cat of the United States had been sidelined, the rats were at play. And so you had North Korea making these gestures to endanger their neighbors. You had Iran sponsoring terrorism across the globe with Hezbollah and Hamas and their other, and we had the situation in Syria where we watched without responding to 500,000 people being murdered in Syria. So it was this. You needed someone who had tremendous strength and someone who could see clearly now what the damage was that was going on and what had to be addressed. And you needed somebody who was a doer, somebody who solved problems, who got up in the morning to solve problems, right? And many of them at that stage were like that. And then on the home front, we had terrible joblessness, a failing economy, a civil war, really, too. So much going on. So I'm looking. I'm like a casting director in a film. I'm looking. Who's the guy that could handle this, right? And as I watched, and I saw what Donald Trump was pointing to, and the courage, maybe not courage, just clarity. This immigration situation, which had to be addressed and wasn't addressed for years. And by the way, all this tumult that they're trying to create, if you listen to Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, they said the same things about immigration. He's getting blamed. They're trying to make him a racist for saying the exact same things, right? But the difference with Donald Trump and those folks, he's going to do something about it. And as I saw him, focusing on just the clear common sense of our trade deals and our dealings with it, he said, we're going to have politicians sitting down with these people negotiating treaties. This was an eye-opener for me because, yeah, of course they don't. They've negotiated nothing. They beg for money, but they haven't negotiated anything. They're not tough negotiators. They're not card players. They don't see what's going on the other side of the table.
One final clip. I hope you got to watch the entire show. Here's one final clip. Jon Voight on Life, Liberty, and Levin last night. Cut 16, go.
So, Jon Voight, you were an early supporter of Donald Trump. How's he doing?
I met someone on the plane flying to make this appointment with you. A friend of mine is conservative, a woman, actress, very good one. And I said, so what do you think about our man? And she just did this.
And he was saying that she put her hand over her heart and was tapping her heart. Go ahead.
That's me crying. It was her too.
Why?
Saying, because it's so, first of all, the gesture was so beautiful. She couldn't even speak. She was just saying, thank God. And I say, thank God. And one of the reasons why I can say thank God is because I know he's there, for us all.
God.
And that's one of the things that we've lost is this compass of God. We have, what did Karl Marx come up with? He eliminated God from the picture. So we can do it without this. Mm-hmm. Not these boys, not our guys. They knew very well. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by our Creator, that we are endowed with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And by the way, one of the things that I know the genius of the architecture of our founding, this Constitution, where it came from, Bill of Rights and a Declaration. I'm lost in the thought of you being the one that I'm sitting in front of now.
No.
You understand the genius of them to say the pursuit of happiness. Because if you go into a communist country, as I did, in 1991, I went to Moscow to make a little film, first time. It was during Glasnost, Perestroika, being the time that they were changing things, of more openness, and all of this stuff. So I was there. And what did I see? I said people with their heads down, would not look you in the eye. In the hotel, nothing worked. You go to the desk to ask for something, a light bulb changed. They wouldn't look at you, pretended they didn't speak English, all of this. And these people, deep unhappiness, they had no possibility to pursue happiness. And that's the difference. That's what socialism, communism, progressive, that's what it means. You don't have the ability to pursue happiness. You can't raise yourself up above anyone else. As soon as you get more than the next guy, Slap down. So no matter how hard you work, you can't improve the lot for your children. They're unhappy. Their buildings are unhappy. There's nothing happy about their societies. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a mark. And that's the genius of this happiness is a big thing.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm back live. And as I told him at that point, I had never heard anybody explain it as beautifully as he just did there. The pursuit of happiness. How it's bleak and dark and glum. Where there's no hope and no opportunity in these regimes. And in this country, it's quite the opposite. Colin Kaepernick, it's quite the opposite. It is a fabulous country. We have problems with the government, but it is a fabulous country. We are a fabulous people. We truly are. And we should be so proud of it. I'll be right back.